All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes? Welcome back to your potentially favorite Nigerian podcast. Bear with me, your host, General Prime, as usual. I hope everybody had like a fucking restful, normal week. My week was fucked up, sha. But such is life. You understand? Yeah, I hope everybody had like a good week. I hope everybody had like a restful weekend. Looking forward to the next one that's coming, cause like it never stops coming, man. It never stops coming. This stuff I always talk about right now is beginning to seem like it's like my intro, because I've been saying the same shit for like 5 episodes now, I believe, and it's beginning to seem like it's the only thing I ask about, or it's the only thing I know that I can, or it's the only thing I know that I can ask about. Anyway, in my previous episode, episode 20, how many episodes have we done right now? This is going to be the 26th episode. God damn. As in, it's kind of strange to believe that I've done this shit. I know that there are podcasts that have like thousands of episodes put in, or hundreds of. Okay, I know the only podcast I know that has like about 1,000 and something, 1,000, almost 2,000 episodes. It's like Joe Rogan's podcast, right? No one. That's why his podcast is the best podcast in the world. But there are other podcasts too that have like fucking 500 episodes, like 600 episodes, like they're nearing the 1,000 episode mark. You understand? So, but for me now that I'm just starting, like I just started October last year, just last year, I I just cannot believe that I have committed to something that long. Do you understand? I've committed to something that I've been doing constantly. I don't know what part of my brain is like making this. Maybe like for example, now my brain, I have this kind of brain where I do things for a short period of time and then I get bored with it and then I move on to the next thing. And then there's also this thing in my head where like everything moves so slow and I just want everything to move fast. And because I want everything to move fast, and like I'm just in this perpetual like fuck, I've wet my bed with fucking wine. I'm having wine and a nice blunt, and I was like trying to get wine off my fucking laptop, and now it's wet my fucking bed, and then there's like red all over, like somebody fucking bled on my fucking bed. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah. So my brain is weird, but that's basically what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that my brain is weird. So I was saying that I have this stuff here. I have this thing in my brain where like everything is just like moving so slow. Like it's like I want something to move. Like I want something. I want it. I have this. I don't know if it's bad. I don't know if I'm going to call it instant instant. What do they call it again? I feel like I have instant gratification syndrome. Do you understand? I just want everything to happen so quickly, and so when things are not happen, like when things don't happen immediate as I want them to happen, I get bored and then I tend to move on to the next thing. But for these podcasts, right? I don't want to go too much into my instant gratification syndrome, like me just wanting everything to happen as quickly as possible. You understand? I know that's like a growth something. I don't want to go too much into it. Um so but for this podcast, right? For this podcasting that I started October last year, it hasn't been, I didn't start it because like I want it to be like some sort, because most people now are doing their podcasts because they see that they can make money from it. Most people are doing so many things right now because they see that they can make money from it. There are very usually in the past, right? The conventional way of making money was just like going into the corporate world, right? Like you get a job, or a 9 to 5 job, or if you're like a white collar worker, or if you're like a blue collar worker. You understand? Like, so those were like the conventional ways of making money. Or you could go into crime, or you could go into like, as in, those are just ways, either good or bad. Those are the ways of making money, right? But these days now, like there are a lot more ways of making money. Like you can sit in your house all day and play video games and you make money from it. You can sit in your house all day, camera in front of you, like people that do OnlyFans, right? Like people do OnlyFans and then they make millions of dollars from it. You can review food in your house and make money from it. You can review toys in your house and you make money from it. You can review clothes. You can just like be taking pictures of yourself with the clothes that you go to buy and you make money from it. There are so many ways now that you don't need to like do actual labor, quote unquote actual labor, to make money from. Like you just there are so many ways now. Like for example now, like the latest one that I'm trying to talk about now, podcasting. You mean to tell me that like people can just sit down and just talk and record what they're talking about and then post it and fucking make money from it. Like that's kind of wild if you think about it. Like we've gotten to the point in our journey where things like this can happen, where a bunch of people and then people have figured out that okay, yeah, so I don't have to like labor, I don't have to stress myself, I don't have to like strain myself doing manual labor, doing all these monotonous jobs or these corporate 9 to 5 jobs. I could just sit down in my house and just literally talk about anything I want to talk about, and I am potentially going to make money from it. And so a lot of people are doing it now. Like an obnoxious amount of people are doing it now, and so many people are doing it very very well. Do you understand? So many people are doing it the right way. So many people are doing it the way they want to do it, because irrespective of the fact that at the back of everybody's mind, everybody wants to make money from this form of entertainment. You understand? There are still people that are doing it well. There are still people that are very talented at it. There are still people that are very committed to it. Do you understand? For example, I listen to the Jordan Peterson podcast. I listen to Joe Rogan. I listen to fucking what's it called? Uh, Sean Ryan. You understand? Like there are some podcasts that I listen to, and because they are actually informative and educative and stuff like that. And then there are some other podcasts like fucking what's his name? Andrew Schultz. What is the name of his fucking podcast again? Fucking flagrant podcast, right? And some science podcasts like fucking, and I know like I don't really, before I used to like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I used to like him before, but I just started noticing that this guy just wants his voice to be heard all the time. So I listen to his podcast because of the whole cosmology stuff, because I'm into cosmology and I like science and I like space and I like all those astrophysics and stuff like that. And that's why I listen to his podcast. Do you understand? And then I listen to Jordan Peterson. Then I listen to fucking, and also you know the guy that played the Punisher now, John Berntal. I also listen to his podcast because his podcast is like talks about like people that have been wronged in society, people that live in the hood, stuff like that, like people that are giving back to society, stuff like that. So that's why I listen to his podcast for the humanity aspect of it. Then also MKBHD's podcast Waveform, right? I also listen to that too because of the tech aspect of it, because they always talk about new phones that are coming out. They're always talking about gadgets. They're always talking about stuff like new, like I just want to like keep up to date with that aspect of life. You understand? Then I also listen to Uncle Joey Diaz podcast, because he talks about mostly gangster stuff that happens in the 80s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 90s even. So those are the podcasts that are like I kind of vibe with. But then there are so many other podcasts now that just make noise anyhow, like they just invite people and just talk rubbish that they don't know about. They just talk nonsense that nobody's interested in. They just say obnoxious shit just for the shock value of it. Do you understand? So podcasts like fucking what is it, Fresh and Fit podcast, this new podcast now that is trending all everywhere, called the Whatever podcast, where they bring girls that I don't know whether they pay the girls to be stupid or what, because the points that these women make all the time are just so fucking outrageous and jaw dropping and surprising. Like, so are you telling me that they did not teach you or did not train you or you didn't go to school or anything? Like, you're just this dumb, like you're just this daft, you're just this adamant. So most of the things that these women say on these podcasts are just outrageous, and the podcast is trending because people gravitate towards that sort of entertainment, but I don't vibe with it. I only see clips of it, and then it makes me mad, and then I like just keep moving. You understand? So these are the kind of podcasts that don't add anything, because they don't add anything to anybody's life. They're just like chips, just like um chips. You know how you like eat chips? There is no like there's no nutritional value in eating chips. You're just there for the taste. Do you understand? And then you eat it, and then it's just like cheap stuff. So at the end of the day, the reason why I am doing my own podcast is because I don't know. I know the reason why I seem to still be doing the podcast is because for some strange reason, I don't know why. I just feel like I'm not yet bored with it. Sometimes I feel like I want to do it right now, but I don't have like the strength to do it, or I don't have the motivation to do it. So I just force myself to do it. Sometimes I genuinely don't have the time to do it, but I always find myself coming back to this because I genuinely, really, actually enjoy it. Understand? I have my housemates. I have my own room anyway, but my housemates are usually noisy, and also since I am this solitary introverted person, I'm just by myself, smoking my weed, drinking my wine, minding my business, doing my thing. Do you understand? Just doing my podcast gingerly. So that's how it is basically. That's why I still find, I don't know, for some strange reason I haven't found this stuff like I haven't found it boring, but because I enjoy it and I've been enjoying it so far, and it's kind of weird that I've put in 26 episodes. Like this is going to be the 26th episode, and it's kind of weird that I've already put in 26 episodes already, which is just crazy. So tagging all of this back to what I was saying before. In my previous episode, I was talking about this incident in fucking Brazil that happened in Brazil in 1996, about aliens that came to in a city in Brazil called, I cannot remember the name of the city right now, but I was watching a documentary called Moment of Contact, and I was talking about it last week, but I didn't have enough time to go into details about it. I just like brushed the surface, right? So fuck, my weed has finished. Anyway, um the documentary is about what happened in Brazil in 1996. I've forgotten the name of the city, and also how it impacted the should I say the citizens, the people that live in that city. So um in 1996, apparently is cylindrically shaped spacecraft, the size of a school bus. Like just picture those yellow school buses, right? That they use in Hollywood movies. Like the size of a fucking school bus, crash landed in Brazil in 1996, and a lot of people saw it. Like literally, this is not, you know how there are incidents like what they call them, UFO sightings, where it would be like one person that saw it, it would be fucking two or three people that saw it, and then their stories would mostly corroborate. Understand? No, this is not what happened. In this case, most people in the city, many people, from everyday citizens to civil service workers, to fire service people, to the military, to hospitals, to everybody saw this shit. You understand? Everybody saw it in Brazil, bro. So in the documentary, they were just going back to the witnesses that came in contact with this thing. That came in contact, not with this. Not, there was not one of them. There were like two of them. You understand? Like there were two. So apparently the stuff crashed, and there were two people inside, two beings inside. Let's not say people, but beings. So one was found at the backyard of, should I say, like just a normal backyard, like your backyard. Do you understand? Like grass is just the fence, just there. Do you understand? So my question for the day, my question for this episode is, you know how, see, you know how let me just go on these little tangents so that you understand what I'm trying to do. So that I'm just trying to like paint you a picture of what I'm trying to say. A lot of Christians always talk about how they love God, you understand, how they believe in God, how they love God, how um they are followers of, should I say, for believers, they are righteous. In fact, if some of them even go as far as saying that they are candidates of heaven, like they are so sure that if they just drop dead at that point in time, that they like their hearts is so clean, their conscience is so clean, their everything is so sparkling and 100% that they are going straight to heaven. Like people, there are people that are so self-centered that they 100% genuinely believe that this can happen to them. Like they are so faultless and so speak and span that they are sinless. In fact, they are faultless, they are pristine, they are perfect, that they are going to go to heaven. They are literally, as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you right now. There are people that are that high, that are that far high on their high horse, that literally believe that if they die right now, that they are going to heaven. So there are people like that believe, that exist in this world. There are people that believe that they have direct private connection to God. Yes, and there are people that believe that they speak to God. In fact, if they just close their eye, they are in a trance and they speak to God and they speak to Jesus and they communicate with him and he tells them what to do. There are people that are that holy, that are that supposedly holy. But it's just kind of, as Carl Sagan said, there is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceit than this distant image of our tiny world. When he was talking about the pale blue dots. So there are people that are not even aware of how obnoxious they sound, and then that is how they sound. Do you understand? People that claim that they've seen God, that they've been in one-on-one conversation and presence with God. But at the end of the day, all of that is just exaggerated fantasy. Do you understand? Like people are just lying to themselves and forcing themselves to believe the lie that they're telling themselves. You understand? And so that it's kind of like it sells itself short to me, because I'm now asking myself, like, okay, you know how in the Bible where fucking what's his name, Moses was only allowed to see the back of God, because anybody that sees God really is just going to die. And if the Bible, if everything in the Bible, if everything in the Bible is wrong, I know there are a lot of things that are right, but if everything in the Bible is wrong, right, that one strikes me a lot as being right, because just think of the human mind first of all, bro. Think of how think of how fucking limited, and think of how just how will I put it now? What's the right word to use now? Barely evolved. The human mind is like barely evolved in the grand scheme of things. Think of how barely evolved. Barely evolved. Like we have 99.1% match DNA with chimpanzees. So like we are barely just like on the, like if this is an examination, we just got a D. You understand? Like we are barely evolved. So think of how barely evolved the human mind is, right? And think of what happens when this human mind is boggled. And what I mean by boggled, as in what I mean is that when it comes in contact with something that it has no ability to conceptualize. So imagine that somebody sees God. Let's assume, see me, I don't believe in God. Everybody knows that, right? But let's assume that there actually was a God, and not in the sense of the religious aspect of it, where like there are books that he supposedly wrote, and not the religious God. I don't mean the religious. I'm not talking about. I'm not even talking about God. I'm talking about a creator. You understand? I'm talking about a maker. A maker or a creator does not necessarily have to be a god, but a god has a maker, and creator cannot be a god, but a god can be a maker or a creator. I don't know if you're getting me. Like somebody can create, some being can create stuff and decide that that stuff that he created would serve him. We humans do it a lot. In a sense, we are gods to mostly inanimate objects. You understand? Like we create a lot of tools that serve us. We create spoons, we create fucking forks, we create bowls, we create cars, we create aeroplanes, we create machines, we create electronics, we create things that serve us. But those things, most of them are in almost all of them, I'll say. I cannot think of anything yet that we have created that is actually biological. Should I say? I'm not going to call the COVID-19 virus or any of these HIV viruses that that we've created over the years, but I'm talking about actual life, like actual understandable and recognizable life. I cannot think of anything that we have created that is actually serving us. But we have robots too. Like we're beginning to have robots. So, but at the end of the day, these things that are serving us are inanimate objects, like quote unquote inanimate objects. So, who is to say that if we humans were created and we believe that we were created and our purpose on this earth is to serve our creator, like who is to say that we ourselves can be said to be inanimate? Like who is to say that we ourselves have been created in the likeness and animation and anthropomorphism of this supposed creator? Like who is to say that we are alive? Like the same way we say like spoons are inanimate and bowls are inanimate and cars are inanimate, yet um these things emit life. Like for example, now you turn the car key of your car, and all of a sudden, this hunk of metal filled with engines, filled with oil, filled with electronics. This hunk of tin is now able to move like at crazy speeds. Do you understand? That is life. Do you understand? Like the sound that the car makes is actually life. You know, but it's not life as we understand it. It's not biological life. It's just life in a different form. Spoons also having the ability to carry more than forks. You understand? That also is life. That is ability. That is intention. That is like this. The image of a spoon is it comes with the intention of carrying plenty. Do you understand? The image of a fork comes with the intention of picking. Like there are so many. I don't know, man. My brain is fucking fucked up, man. So, but at the end of the day, these things are life, but not in the sense that we understand them to be. So, who is to say that we are same as we think we are and then we have like we are all of us we have like formed this fucking notion in our head that we are alive and then we are superior and then we are like special. So who is to say that the people that actually created us first of all have the same image as us? If they are people, I don't know, there's no other way to like, there's no other adjective I can use to describe them. So if they are people, so who is to say that they are actually? Who is to say that we are like, you know how in the Bible it talked about how where the God was talking about let us create man in our own image and likeness. Like shut the fuck up, man. Are you telling me that are you telling me that we are in the image and likeness of God? Like the image and likeness of the fucking creator of this universe, like we as we are right now. The human form is called the human form is called the stucoid form. So who used to say that fucking we're like we now in our stucoid form? The stucoid form is the same as the image of the creator of this universe. Like how how delusional can you be? Like there is this quote I love from Carl Sagan a lot. He said, "Man in his arrogance thinks himself a great work, worthy of the interposition of a deity." That's just that that just goes to show you how fucking self-centered we are. Like man in his arrogance of arrogance, thinks himself a great work. Like na me be like I'm special. Like God created me in his image and likeness. Like I am a child of God. I am the son of God. I am the like there's this fucking song that Busta Rhymes and Mary J. Blige did. And in the I forgot the name of the song. I cannot think of it right now. In the song, she talks about how when God created her, God created broke the mold, because that she's so perfect that when God created her, God broke the mold. Like, that is just, first of all, that is just counter logical. It's like, if I made something that is just so perfect, right, I would like to like keep the blueprints of it so that I can be able to make it again. If there's like a blueprint, if there's like a fucking mold, you understand? If there's like a if there's like a template, you understand? So why would I have like the perfect template, or why would I have the perfect blueprint, or why would I have like the perfect mold, and then I create something with it, and then I destroy all that method? It doesn't make any sense to me. So let's tie it back to example. If I had like it's counterintuitive. That's what I'm trying to say. But let's just tie it back to everything I've been talking about. That I want to talk about. Sorry. What has barely evolved as his mind is, right? I wonder how the mind will feel when I wonder how the mind will feel if it comes in contact with something that it has never conceptualized in its life. It's like, what will happen if God exists? What will happen if you see God? You're literally going to die. You're actually literally for real. As in, if you have the ability to see God, if you have the ability to see this fucking being, I don't see, there's this sure you've seen, everybody, I'm sure most people have seen the movie Aliens versus Predator. I cannot remember if it's the part 2 or I've forgotten, where the fucking, it was Lawrence Fishburne that was the he was like wearing their armor, like their costume, and so he wanted to like kill somebody, and the guy was like, when the guy now saw him, the guy was like, fuck you, because the guy's never seen shit like that before, bro. And this is not the best analogy I can use to explain what I'm trying to say. Another analogy I can use to explain, the best analogy actually I can use to explain what I'm trying to say so that you understand it perfectly is, if you've seen the movie Bird Box. Everybody has seen the movie Bird Box, right? The one with Sandra Bullock. Bro, that story is straight out of H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Cthulhu or Cthulhu? Cthulhu. Cthulhu. I don't know how to pronounce it. In the book Cthulhu, bro, if you set your eyes on this being, it's so beautiful, and so it's so beautiful that you have no, like, you yourself, you don't feel worthy of. No, I'm not talking about Cthulhu. Cthulhu is so terrifying, sorry, that the people that set eyes on Cthulhu, they go mad, they die, they have nightmares, they are not the same again. So it's the same thing with in Bird Box. I feel like those beings in Bird Box that even the viewers cannot even see, we just have glimpses of them in like drawings and stuff. Bro, I feel like they are so, when you know how they depict angels like as these humanoid beings with wings, like they're so rudimental that they're depicted as humanoid fucking beings with wings and swords and stuff like that. They're so, I don't know, cheap. But the way the Bible explains fucking angels, they're so, as in, I don't know, bro, they're so, I've never seen shit like that before. You understand? That's how they are. And when people see them, the human mind has not yet evolved to that point where it can handle such an image, where the mind can handle, you know how sometimes the brain plays tricks on us, and like we have like all these optical illusions, we have like all these things that we see. We have, for example, now if you're traveling I don't know, people in Nigeria, like we like traveling, especially during Christmas. And then when you're traveling and you look at the road, you see like as if they're like at the horizon. If you're looking at the horizon, you see as if there's water on the road. And then when you get close, everything just disappears. It's called the fucking mirage, right? So we have like all these things that fuck with the mind. In fact, most humans are very gullible. Like, people fall for pyramid schemes all the time. And then you think that they would learn like other people will learn from it. But no, people still fall for fucking pyramid schemes, and it boggles the fucking mind. And you're like, are these people not supposed to be intelligent? You understand? Like, for example, now we have everything that is going on in this world. Russia was fucking Russia tried to nuke, is it Poland or so, but then the missile that they sent to Poland, the fuel finished. I don't know if anybody has heard of this. This happened yesterday. Today is Sunday. This happened yesterday on Saturday. Fuck, they wanted to nuke that Poland. Yeah, it was Poland. Just yesterday, as me and you were talking like this, but the nuke that was going towards Poland, it ran out of it ran out of fuel and then just landed in the forest because they failed. They did not say anything. Everybody just kept quiet. I don't know if it's Poland or Germany, I've forgotten, but one of either Poland or Germany. But the nuke ran out of fuel and fell inside forest, and everybody just kept quiet. And me and you were just talking. We don't know what to. Yesterday, that everybody was just chilling, hearing that they almost nuked Poland, bro. So look at everything that's going on in this world right now. Like, it's like we're not learning from the past. Where we have this, human beings have this amnesia syndrome where we seem to not have the ability to learn from our mistakes. Even me, even me, as I'm talking like this, I always have that. Like, there are some things that I'll do, and then I'll ask myself, why are you doing this, bro? Like, this thing that you're doing right now, you have done it before, and it fucked with you a lot. Like, it fucked you up a lot, and it drew you back like 100,000 steps, and it messed with you a lot, and like, it just fucked with you. Why are you doing it again? It's like, did you not learn from what happened to you before? Why do you feel like you have the ability to go through whatever it is that is inevitably about to happen to you? Like, why do you feel like you're the main character in the movie? Like, why do you feel like you have this fucking shield that is covering you, that is just like their actions have consequences? Do you understand? So, me personally, I always fall back. I don't know why. I don't know why. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I just chalk it up to me being an organism, doing what organisms do best. I feel like we are predetermined beings, so no matter what we do, we're always going to like go back to the original plan. We cannot escape the original plan. I've talked. I sort of believe in predeterminism. I know I'm going off a tangent, but I'm going to come back. Like, I sort of believe in predeterminism. Sort of. Like, I know there are a lot of things that make like that break that my belief, or break that prove me wrong, basically. But I sort of believe in predeterminism. So, human beings never change. We're just always meant to be who we are. We're just always meant to be this cog in fucking machine. So, human beings never learn from their mistakes. Like, we are just so we have like we're what did this guy say? There's this book I read called Fingerprints of the Gods. He said we are a civilization of amnesia. I don't know, there's a way he put it. There's a more brilliant way that he put it. But basically what he was trying to say is that we are beings that forget a lot. We tend to repeat our history. So we never change. Human beings never change. Human beings never like redirect. Human beings never as in, we never learn from our mistakes. We never learn from our mistakes. We never learn, basically. And so if the brain has not yet evolved to be able to handle these petty squabbles that we engage in at this point in time in our existence on this fucking planet, like, if our brains have not yet been able to evolve to the point where we are to be mature enough, where we can like handle all these things, like where there is no more war or greed or crime, that's like, then how much more what it will feel like to be in the sight of fucking, if there is a creator, like, let's just say God, like, how much more fucked up, like, how much more mind-boggling will that be for somebody to stand in the presence of God? It's like, bruh. Let me tell you another thing again that also relates to this. You know how a lot of people, like I said before, now a lot of people like to claim that they are, like that they be assistant Jesus. this woman now that got a Guinness Book of World Record for cooking for I don't know how many 48 hours straight, and then got the Guinness Book of World. Do you know what it is? I know that there are a lot of ridiculous world records in Guinness Book of World Records, but this one, you're cooking for, I don't know, is it 72 hours straight without resting, bruh, and you got it. Now, this achievement that is so difficult to get, people, in fact, a lot of people have been applauding her, a lot of people have been congratulating her, right? Which makes a lot of sense. Then you now see one pastor on Twitter is saying that no matter how many awards you get, if you still dress like an ashawo, you go to hell. Bro, Papa, uncle, what is your uncle? What is your own? What is your own, uncle? Bro, we're in 2023. Bro, what is your? You want to tell me that the owner of this universe, the creator, bro, do you know how fast light is? The speed of light. Do you know that the speed of light is 299.7 million miles per second? Imagine something moving that fast. Imagine something moving as fast as 299.7 million miles per second. Per second, though. Per second. You want to tell me that the person that created it will now come and relax and sit down on his multi-cam monitor and then decide to punish somebody that is able to cook for 72 hours straight without resting for dressing fashionably? Like, is that how insecure your God is? is that how insecure this God that you're hailing is? This your God? Because it's your God, it's not my own God. It's not. Most people don't believe in that God. You understand? But it's your personal God. So is that how insecure your God is, that he's going to bother himself about stuff like that? That's weird. That's just fucking weird. So these people that like to claim that they are assistant secretary of Jesus, you understand? All these people that like to claim they are the holiest, that them holy pass. I don't think these people understand what belief actually, as in every letter of that word means. Like, you believe in something. I believe that tomorrow is Monday because since the fucking Gregorian calendar was created, every day after Sunday has been Monday because it is scientifically accurate, and we have given the second day of the week the name Monday after Sunday being the first day of the week. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So that's why I believe in it, because it is factually correct based on our human perception of it. So for you to believe in God, for you to believe, you don't, as in, there is something that belief is a transition, a transitory state. I don't know if I'm getting this wrong, or if I'm getting this right. Like, belief is not the final form of our connection with something. Do you understand? Our intellectual or perceptive connection with something. Belief is the transitory aspect of it, and the final aspect of it is an unconscious understanding of it. Like when you're so used to something that you just know what is going to happen. Like when you're driving a manual car, like you understand when you're driving a manual car, sometimes you catch yourself like downshifting from 3 back to 2. Do you understand? Like you sometimes you catch yourself doing it and you're like, oh, how did I know how to do this? Because you're so used to it. You don't have to believe that when you're slowing down, and let me say you're in like third gear, you don't have to believe or fear or like be kind of apprehensive or kind of, I don't know, maybe the first time when you're learning how to drive. But when you're so used to driving a manual car, like sometimes you just do it. That's why some people are so complacent, and then they become careless, and then they become like nonchalant and passive, and then they are careless, and then they have accidents. Do you understand? So that you have to be so fucking in tune with something that you don't even, that belief, there's no need for belief. Like, belief is when you're trying to get to know something, And so you're studying something, and then you're realizing that this thing that you're studying, there's a certain aspect or that there is to it. There's a certain way it moves, there's a certain way it behaves. And so you come to terms with that trait, and that is what belief is. So for people to be claiming to believe in God, it's like that means you don't even know what you're doing. That means you don't even know what you're saying. That means you're so still in the early stages of your interaction and your connection with this whatever entity it is that you claim to be in the same sphere with. You understand? So that's why I don't like give my attention to all these people, because to tie it back to the beginning of whatever it is, to what I was saying before about the aliens that landed in fucking Brazil, bro. There's this guy, this old man, this like elderly man, that they took him back to the site of I don't you just have to like watch the documentary to understand what I'm saying, bro. That what this man did couldn't have been acted, couldn't have been, like choreographed, couldn't have been. It's not fake, it's real. It's real. What this man did was real. I said in my previous episode that I was smoking when I was watching a documentary, because obviously you cannot like watch a documentary while sober. You have to be high to understand whatever it is that is going on. So I was high watching a documentary. And when it got to that point, when it got to that moment where this man was explaining how he saw these alien beings fall from heaven and crash land in that field, and he was talking about this is he was pointing, he was speaking in Spanish, that was the field that the aliens crashed. This happened in 1996, and then they took him back there in, like, I think that was last year or so. So, bro, this guy was like, he was shedding tears. And me that was high and I was watching it also, I was shedding tears, because that could not have been acting. Like, there is no way that could have been acting. Just imagine that you actually saw things from another planet, like things from, like, you saw the stuff that your next door neighbor has. Might not necessarily be your next door neighbor, because we don't know how far these beings are from us, like the planet of these beings are from us. Like, we don't know how far away they are, bro. This man was crying. This man was saying that this was the place that he saw them, and he was talking about how abhorrent and how appalling the smell from the spacecraft was. Like, it was like ammonia. It was rotten smell. You understand? So this guy was crying, was shedding tears that this is the place that and I was just, when I was watching that documentary, brother, I was just wondering, it's like, so this man literally saw something that nobody else has ever seen before, bro. He literally saw fucking aliens, beings that they probably have their own families, they probably have their own way of life, they probably have their own principles, they probably have their own hobbies, they probably have people that they also they hate, or they probably have fears and aspirations and stuff like that, bro. Like, these people, like, you saw another, I don't know. Just imagine you now. Let me say you're in Nigeria now, and then you travel to somewhere like Canada, and like there's white people all over everywhere, and then you now see like another Nigerian, that you now see another black person that happens to be a Nigerian, that also happens to be from your state, that also happens to be from your tribe, that also happens to be from, let me see, like a distant cousin or something, bro, because you share the both surname. Like, that is how similar it is to, like, you're able to recognize. It's like when you're the main character. We humans, I like to give us trash all the time, you understand? But at the end of the day, we're the guardians of this fucking planet. We're the destroyers and also the regulators. Like, we fix shit and we destroy shit. We make shit. Yes, and we create stuff. We do things. We destroy. We fuck things up. But we try our best to regulate shit also. So at the end of the day, we're the guardians of this fucking planet. When you're the guardian, nobody tends to be your equal, because you're policing everybody. Like, you're controlling everything. We control all the resources on this planet, the animals, the plants, the minerals, the gases, everything. We're controlling everything. Some that we have not yet some that we have not discovered yet. But still, when we discover them, we're still going to be able to control them, right? So that's why we're the guardians of this planet. So when you now meet another person, when the feeling that you meet the feeling that you have when someone else your equal comes to gets in the same vicinity as you, and you're able to communicate and you're able to understand each other and know that, oh yes, you both are on the same intellectual spectrum. Like that's a satisfying feeling, right? So, and also it can be scary at first because people will be like weighing each other up and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm making sense. So, but this must have been how that man felt, because I'm not going. Let me not say that this is how he felt, but let just what I'm just at the end of the day, bro. What I'm trying to say is that, what does it feel like to come in the presence of? It's like to come in the presence of another being that exists somewhere far, fucking far away, that it takes more than a lifetime to get to. What it might feel like, bro. When I was watching the documentary, bro, this man was crying. He was crying, he was explaining everything, and I was just looking at him. And I was like, so we are really actually not alone in this universe. What did Alfred Hitchcock say? He said there are two possible scenarios. Either we are alone in this universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. He just casually said that, like, either we are alone in this universe or we're not. Both are equally terrifying. Imagine that we human beings now on this planet Earth now, we are the anomaly. We are the, fucking mistake. We are the only point of reference the universe has to observe itself. Like, as vast and as endless as this universe is, bro. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with this, bro. As vast and as endless as this universe is. Just imagine that with me for 1 second. We are the only beings. It's like everything that has ever happened in this world, every conspiracy, every war, every good deed, every evil deed, every unspeakable deed, everything that has ever happened, or every architecture, every painting, every drawing, every music, every artwork, every discovery, every scientific what is it called? Scientific fucking, what they call them again? Every scientific threshold, that's not the word I'm looking for, but that's the best I can think of right now. Like every scientific achievement, exactly, bro. Everything that has ever happened in the history of our planet, according to Carl Sagan, happened here on this mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam, bro. Everything that has happened here. Just imagine that after all these things, we are the only ones in this universe, the only planet that there is life. Not even ordinary, not even sentient life, just life in general. Not even like microbes or biomes or fucking fungi or micro or muck or stuff like that, or early stages of life. Like life in general, at all. Like we're the only, in the, as vast as this universe is, we're the only planet with life. That is weird. First of all, that is weird. That is oddly fucking unusually absurdly weird. Because why am I in that position where I have to be intellectual and I have to be like sentient and just as a being, an intellectual and intelligent being? Like, why do I have to endure this existential crisis of being aware, of being a reflection of the universe, of being the best way, one of the outlets the universe can use to observe itself? Like, why do you have to put me through that hell? It's like, why did it have to be me? Do you understand? Why did it have to be me? Why did it have to be you also? Why did you have to be a being that understands, that perceives, that is jealous, that can react? Do you understand? Like, why do we have to exist in a reality where we are the only beings, we are the only guardians in the entire universe, both in the observable and the unobservable universe? Like, why? It's kind of terrifying to think, to just imagine that we exist in that world. It is also equally terrifying to exist in a world that we actually seem to be existing in right now, where there are other beings that are higher guardians than us and more powerful guardians than us, and have the ability to leave their own point of guard or guardianship, their own wherever it is that they're guarding, and to come to our own place, our own domain, to inspect, or no, bro, to inspect us, to look at us, to view us, to see us. Do you understand? It's kind of also equally terrifying, even not if not even more terrifying, to live in that reality where there are technologically advanced neighbors that are able to leave their own house and come to our house to look at whatever it is that we're doing. Bro, does anybody not find that disturbing? Does anybody not find that in curious or interesting, or like, I don't know, um hmm perhaps I might have to look into that. Do you understand? Bro, nobody is like thinking of this in the way I'm thinking of it too. We have beings from another world, we don't know how true they are. A lot of people can lie, a lot of people can make up stories, a lot of people can just like come up with shit just to, like, maybe for clout or for attention or stuff like that. But bro, this documentary that I watched, called what's it fucking called again? Moment of Contact, about the stuff that happened in Brazil in 1996, bro. I don't think, when this man was talking about how he came in contact with these aliens, bro, and he was crying, and he was like moving on, he was like pulling the grass out, and he was talking about, this is the place that I came in contact with beings from another world. Imagine yourself in that situation, bro. Imagine yourself in that. Just put yourself in shoes. Put yourself in that man's shoes. Put yourself. If you've seen the documentary, or I urge everybody to go and see the documentary. But just, if you've seen the documentary, put yourself there, and you're face to face with that. Like, you're face to face with this experience, and you're looking at it, and it's looking back at you. Like, there are three sisters that also had encounters with this stuff. They call it close encounters of the third kind. Apparently there are three kinds of encounters. There is close encounters of the first kind, close encounters of the second kind, and close encounters of the third kind. So close encounters of the first kind is like if you see a UFO in the sky, and you probably don't know what it is, and you just see it as a UFO, right? That's close encounters of the first kind. Close encounters of the second kind is if you see a UFO that has landed, and you see it for like like, let me say, span of time, let me say 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That's like close encounters of the second kind. Then close encounters of the third kind is when you see beings coming out of the fucking spacecraft, of the UFO spacecraft, and maybe you're most probably able to like interact with them in some kind of way. So this is what the people in this documentary experienced. Like, there are two soldiers that like captured one of the aliens, and one soldier like grabbed the alien, and like put it in its car, and carried it to the hospital because the alien was fucking injured and stuff like that. And then after that encounter, the guy developed some kind of bacteria, and within a few days he was dead. You understand? Because according to the witnesses in the documentary, the aliens were oily and they were like smelling and they were disgusting and stuff like that. So the that soldier that carried him to the hospital developed, because the soldier actually touched. Imagine the soldier actually touched the alien, so he developed some kind of sickness and bacterial infection, and within like a few days he was dead. So people, that this is how close people like. There's another doctor. There is a doctor again in the documentary that had to x-ray the aliens, even though it was in a body bag. Like even though the aliens were in like body bags and stuff, the military people did not allow the doctors to like see what was in the bag. But this is how close people were to this story. This is how close people were to this incident. It's not like the one that happened in Roswell, where people were kind of like brainwashed towards what they saw. This one, how many years later? Like fucking 26 years later, or 25 or 28 years later. I don't know how long that's been, bro. I'm not good at math. So people are still able to remember exactly what they experienced that day. So that's just why after watching that documentary, I've just been thinking for a very long time, like what it will feel like. As in, when I was listening to the no, yeah, I was listening first of all listening to the podcast because Joe Rogan had brought the director of the fucking documentary, who had him on his podcast. And so when I was listening to it and he was explaining everything that happened, I was just imagining everything happening to me. Do you understand? So when I was watching the documentary, also I was just imagining myself being in that situation where I am face to face with an actual being from another planet, like for real, another being from another planet. It's like they might not even have this humanoid form. They might not even be able to conceptualize, because we cannot even, our brains are not yet that well developed to be able to conceptualize them. We might not even be able to understand what it is that we're seeing. Like you've seen movies where things happen. Like for example now, as in there's this new show I'm watching called Silo. I don't know if I've talked about it before. This new show I'm watching called Silo, where about I don't know how many thousand people are in a silo underground, and the silo is like 140. They've been there for about 140 years, and the silo is like how many floors in the silo, and everybody has been there since they were born, and they don't know whether the outside world is like able to is habitable. Basically, they don't know. They just have like camera feed. There's just one camera that is at the gate of the silo that is sending the feedback back to them on their electronic windows, and then the camera is showing them what it is that is in the outside world, and it's just desolate and dead and just scattered and gaseous and just inhabitable and stuff like that, bro. So but in the show, somebody, not anybody, Rashid, imagine Rashida Jones. I never knew that Rashida Jones had that, could act like that actually. So somebody, a woman that is Rashida Jones, right, was from The Office, obviously, was the one that kind of figured out that things outside might be what they're showing in the feed might not be what is actually outside, because she came across this hard drive that showed things differently outside from how they are inside. And so she was, and the as in one of the most heinous crimes or heinous requests you can make in the silo is requesting to go outside. Do you understand? So in that in so she then requested to basically go outside to see for herself, bruh. And she was trying to convince everybody that what they are seeing is fake, that what their reality is fake, that what they are going through is fake, that things outside are good, things outside are better, that them inside this silo, inside this hole, is just imprisonment. But everybody was looking at her like she was crazy. You know, everybody was looking at her like she had gone mad. So the thing was not like, and also I was high watching that episode of the show. I was not like, imagine mad people in Nigeria. Imagine mad people in Nigeria. They behave abnormal. they behave in a way that all of us collectively have assumed and have agreed to be abnormal. But is it actually abnormal, or are mad people? Do mad people actually know what's going on? Are we that claim to be normal, right? Are we actually the ones that are mad, or are mad people actually mad for real, for real? Because she obviously, from my point of view in the show, she was telling the truth that outside is different from inside, from the way they are picturing it and from the way they are portraying it inside. So is that the same way with our own reality here, where there are people that are essentially crazy? There are people that we essentially call psychos, and we don't give them audience that much, because whatever it is that they are saying, whatever it is that we hear from them, tends to seem to sound like they're just talking rubbish. But if you listen carefully, bro, if you listen carefully, they're actually making sense. I cannot think of any particular name right now, but I know that there are people like that we tend to just brush aside. We tend to just not give audience to them, not take them seriously because they are talking rubbish. But what if what they're talking about is actually real? And that is just the same way with mad. That I think of mad people in Nigeria. I know that mad people in Nigeria are actually that mad people in Nigeria are actually mad. But what if they're actually not mad? What if there's something that they knew that we don't know? Because right now in this our reality now, bro, we seem to have, all of us collectively, we seem to have run mad, and we it seems like there is nobody that has a right head of head that's in charge. Like there's nobody with nobody that's level headed is in charge, and it feels like the lunatics have taken over the asylum. Do you understand? So, and we are deliberately trying to destroy our world. Like we are actively and all hands on deckly and deliberately and desperately trying to destroy everything that we have built so far. And feels it does not, and it's kind of stupid. It's stupid because you're looking at it and you're seeing that this does not actually this makes no sense. It does not make any sense. You people that are in politics, you people that are in government, you people that are in charge, that are quote unquote in charge, you people are actively trying to destroy yourselves. Is it that you people don't understand that that you people don't understand what consequence is? That you people don't understand that if you fuck up, like you're fucked up, like you've lost. There's this power. There's this power that sweeps people in charge. Like there's this, I don't know, energy that they have that nothing can go wrong. That they have all the cheat codes and they have all the abilities to undo everything if everything goes. Like they're just, I don't know, fucking big dick energy, just swinging about. You understand? So they have this perception. They have this delusion that nothing can go wrong. But bro, things are going wrong. Things are going wrong. And people are beginning to notice. Like people are beginning to think. People are beginning to be aware of it. And so far, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all, at all. I don't know. Probably I'm going to. I feel like this is like what you know how like there are shows where one episode ends and then the next episode continues from where the last episode ended, right? What they call it, like a symmetrical. I forgot what it's called. I feel like this has been like that. Like this is the second. This is the part two of the episode I was doing before, like my last episode. So also there's probably going to be like a part three where we're going to like talk about something else, and also a part four and stuff like that. I don't know, but it's beginning to feel like that. So yeah, it's beginning to feel like that. So that means that I'm going to like continue next week with what I'm talking about. I've run out of weed, so like I've run out of weed. Like there is no more weed to like roll. Not that I've like continued the conversation, the the monologue. I would have continued the monologue, but there's no more weed and there's no more wine. Everything has finished. So that means I have to like continue next week. So anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for giving me your listening ears. Right. Last week, I also added. I also like stock a gaming video, like my DMZ gameplay footage on this, and then like uploaded it on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, you can go and check out my YouTube channel also at youtube.com/generalprime1. I'm also going to like upload this on Spotify. Also, you can like send me an email at generalprime14@gmail.com. So yeah, those are the best ways, and you can follow me on Twitter, generalprime1 also. Yeah, that's basically it. If you enjoyed this episode, my brain is full. Like I can actually feel my brain filled up right now. So I have to like have to like chill. So anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like rate the episode. Don't forget to like follow that. The most important thing is following me. Also, Nigerians, I know that most of my audience, most of my my audience, basically, I've forgotten the term I'm supposed to use now. Most of you are Nigerians, right? And I know that we Nigerians, we have kind of like this problem with data and stuff like that. What I'm trying to say is that I know my target audience are mostly Nigerians, and we Nigerians have like problem with data and stuff like that. So, but what you just need to do is like download Spotify, register, and then just there you can download the like podcast and then listen to it offline. You don't need to pay for Spotify. Spotify is like free to an extent. If me personally, I use it mostly generally, basically, in fact, for podcasts. You understand? So just download Spotify and register for it, sign up basically, and then my episodes, there is a download button there, and it's not more than 100 megabytes, or should I say, yeah, it's not more than 100 megabyte, I think, most of the time. So download the episode and you can listen to it offline whenever you want without like any internet wahala or anything. So do that. That will help me. And also don't forget to like rate the episode and rate the podcast in general. And if you want to like reach out to me, you can reach out to me at Twitter at generalprime1, or send me an email at generalprime14@gmail.com. So yeah, that's basically it. That's mostly basically it. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for like giving me your listening ear. And yeah, that's that about that. And I'll talk to you guys next week. All right, bye everybody.